All right, good day, everybody. This is Emar Substitute, and welcome to another edition of the Technical State of Georgia Athletics Podcast. We're recording this on March 18th, 2021. Hope all of you are well out there in the world. Fun times in college athletics. We have the NCAA basketball tournaments, the men and the women. We'll delve into that. Georgia is represented very well in those tournaments, and we'll go over all of that. We also we were able to get exclusive interviews within Georgia Tech volleyball, Georgia Tech softball, and Georgia State men's tennis. So make sure that you stick around for the entire show to hear all of our interviews with those various entities. But as always, if you want to follow everything that we're doing, head to thesportsinquirer.net, premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can also go to our social media platforms, starting with Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, Sports Inquirer. Just search us on there, and you will find out what we have going on. You can also go to our audio and video providers, including YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and iTunes. And you can search for us under Sports Inquirer, and you will see our content. As I mentioned on today's show, we'll go over all of you actually will see my bracket for the NCAA men's basketball tournament, which I literally did about 10 minutes ago before recording the show. And technically, I'm not cheating a little bit, or I am cheating, because the first four is taking place as we're recording this on March 18th. But none of the teams that are in the first four are making long runs, and I'll go over that when I break down my bracket. The tournament, I know it starts tonight, but it really starts tomorrow when you have the round of 64 games starting to take place. But respect to these teams that are in the first four, and we'll talk about that as well. And also, as we're in the middle of the spring season, a lot of activities going on. I know personally, I have been doing some lacrosse games for Kennesaw State, which has been interesting. I've made a commitment to do it, and it's been some changes going on there, but I'm working through it. But no, it's good. It's good to, at least the spring sports are able to play and have their activities going on. So that has been very exciting. And even with FBS football, or FCS football, excuse me, they're going through their regular season right now. So locally in Metro Atlanta, you have Kennesaw State. They're playing their football season and going through that. They had a big win over Charleston Southern, I think this past weekend or this past Saturday. So they're undefeated in their campaign so far. And it's unique seeing spring football taking place in competitive spring football, I should say, in the middle of the spring. We're used to spring practice and all of that. And if you listen to our previous show, we discussed the Georgia State football team and them doing their spring practices. We're used to that. But to have Division One FCS football taking place now, a regular season contest is a little different, but you got to go with the flow with that. But yeah, let's go into the men's basketball tournament and the NCAAs. And before we get into Georgia Tech and their preparation for their first round matchup, I'll just go over my bracket. I'll give you my Elite Eights and then my Final Four and my national champion. I wanted to pick upsets and wanted to go with the team that has a double-digit seed to make a long run all the way to the Elite Eight or maybe make the appearance in the Final Four. And I am sure there's going to be one. We've had the past few years. We've seen teams like George Mason, Loyola Chicago, be double-digit seeds and make it to the Final Four. So that's been done in the past, and I think it'll be done again this year. I just don't. And the biggest difference is when you're looking at in previous years, you had a pretty extensive non-conference schedule. So some of the mid-majors that would have been in that room, or even a Power 5 or Power 6, if you include the Big East conference, and you had a team that was maybe 500 in conference and got a low seed in the NCAA tournament, you would have seen them play a full conference schedule with a Big East team or an SEC team, and you have an idea of where they are, and you see that they're playing, maybe they make a run because they're playing well at the right time. All conferences had modified conference schedules just because of the lack of games and games being canceled, logistics. In the Sun Belt Conference alone, the teams in the Eastern Division did not play teams from the Western Division until they may have crossed paths in the conference tournament. So you really didn't get a gauge of who were the top conference teams. And that hurts your valuation when you're looking at these teams. You can't really go by record either. There's some teams that have played up to 30 games, and I look at a team just going over some elite teams. Michigan only played 24 games this year. And then you look at a Baylor, they only played 24 as well. But then you look at some other teams that played 30 to 32 games. So you can't really look at the record and say, wow, they've only had 3 or 4 losses, or they've won 30 games this year. It's just not a viable look of these teams when you're looking at their resumes and everything like that. So when I was doing my bracket, I said I wanted to pick upsets, and I said pick a team that could be a double-digit seed and make a long run, but it's a lot of chalk. We'll start with the West with in the number one seeds Gonzaga. I have Gonzaga facing Kansas in the Elite Eight in the Western or the West Finals. That's a 1 seed versus a 3 seed, and Gonzaga wins that contest. Michigan and Alabama in the East region, they're the top 2 seeds of that region, and I have Michigan winning that contest. Even though Alabama is very intriguing, they were able to win the SEC tournament. I saw some highlights from that contest. I was working actually during that game, but they've had a solid. They've been really the top team in the SEC all season, so they've pretty proved in the regular season and won the conference tournament. You go to the South region, I have Baylor over Ohio State, a 1 seed over a 2 seed. Once again, that's just how it worked out with Baylor. I said they only played 24 games, but I will say I think Gonzaga and Baylor have been the best regular season teams all year. Just because Baylor really got roughed up, and Michigan as well, with its COVID issues and really sat out multiple weeks during the season, and that really hurt their overall win-loss record as far as number of wins. But I still think they're an elite team. And then in the Midwest region, Illinois over Houston, a 1 seed over a 2 seed. So I have all 4 number 1 seeds heading into the Final Four. Once again, that's probably not gonna happen. I highly doubt it will happen. But I just you want to talk about maybe a Utah State, they're an 11 seed, or Winthrop. Winthrop's in my Sweet 16 in the South. They lose to Baylor. I just was going down the list of all of these double digit seeds that you wanna take a run at a Wichita State or a Drake. They play tonight. Do you want to throw some love to Michigan State or UCLA? They're the 11 seeds in the East, and they're playing each other tonight. I have Michigan State winning that game. But do you see them really getting past BYU? Okay, I have them beating BYU, but then they face Texas in the round of 32. That's a very tough matchup for Michigan State to beat Texas. Can it happen? Of course it can. But I just don't, I'm not confident enough to make that statement. So once again, and then my Final Four, I'll just wrap it up here. Gonzaga beats Michigan in one national semifinal. Illinois beats Baylor in the other semifinal, and Gonzaga wins the national championship. And one more thing about the tournament that you have to acknowledge as well, and then we'll get to my Georgia Tech content. All of these games are in the state of Indiana with minimal crowds. It's a different atmosphere than any other Final Four or any other tournament that we've ever had. We've had games in neutral sites, the different fan bases converge together. It becomes a very big deal. And I think you could have some of the lower seeds, they get that extra motivation playing in front of a crowd that maybe wants to see them win. And you get a little bit of a home court advantage, at least emotionally and with noise wise. We've seen it a lot of times over the years. That's not going to exist this year. I'm watching this contest between Texas Southern and Mount St. Mary at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana. I've seen more crowds, or bigger crowds at practices than what I'm seeing right here. Now, granted, you said maybe those two teams don't have the biggest fan bases to travel to Indiana, but there are going to be limits. It could be the biggest fan bases you can think of, Kentucky and North Carolina. They're not in tournament. Well, Kentucky isn't in Duke, but national fan bases that travel in the thousands. They can do all of that, but they're not going to be in that arena just because of the limited capacity. So all that adds up together. I think it's going to be very tough for the lower seeds to make a run in the tournament and try to get victories. But that's what I have. It's all 1 seeds making it to the Final Four. And I really don't see. Maybe I flip. Maybe Ohio State beats a Baylor for me, or maybe Houston beats Illinois. I don't really see that happening. I said Alabama is very intriguing to me. Maybe over Michigan before I really do my final ballot tomorrow afternoon before the games. Most of the games start. But yeah, just doing the bracket right now, it's all one seats. So we'll be keeping track of all of that throughout the next few weeks, and you will see what's going on there. All right, let's transition over into the technical state of Georgia athletics with the teams in the state of Georgia. We'll start with Georgia Tech men's basketball. They are back in the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2010, and it's the 17th time in program history that they are in the NCAA tournament. They are the number 9 seed in the which region are they in? They're in the Midwest region. So they're the number 9 seed in the Midwest region, and they're going to face the number 8 seed Loyola Chicago in the which is the Missouri Valley Conference champion. They won that championship. Big news coming out today about Georgia Tech is the unavailability of ACC Player of the Year Moses Wright. That's a really big blow for Georgia Tech. He's their best interior player. As I mentioned, he's a Conference Player of the Year. It's going to be very, very tough for Georgia Tech to deal with the interior play of Loyola Chicago and handling all of the presence that they have inside. But it's a very tough deal. But you have to figure that I've always said throughout the entire year, Michael DeVoe is the best. If you look at pro prospects or guys that can play at the next level, he's the guy that I think is the best one on that roster. I know Jordan Usher is a solid player as well, and Jose Alvarado is a very good point guard, especially on defensive end. He was the conference defensive player of the year. But I think this is a game where DeVoe, he needs to go for 20 plus, maybe even go for 30 to pick up the offensive slack for with the unavailability of Moses Wright. But even with Moses Wright, I still was taking Loyola Chicago to win the contest. But I think it's just a very tough deal for COVID-related issues, him being unavailable. And that's I think, and I've said on previous shows, and I'll say it again. He's not the first guy that this is going to happen to. I think we're going to see several guys have COVID during this tournament. You can't bring all these people from around the country into one area. And I know they're doing isolations and testings and all this other stuff, but I think someone's going to have it. And now that the games are playing, we're going to see some teams, and you don't want to see it in the Final Four or the Elite Eight or things like that, but they're similar to what we saw in the conference tournaments with Virginia, Kansas having people on their staff or a player with COVID and them having to leave the tournament. I think the similar thing is going to happen in the NCAAs. It's just very unfortunate, but I think that's the reality of what is going to go on. But I was able to hear the presser of Josh Pastner about the team making the NCAA tournament, and here were his thoughts.
Okay. First time in 25 plus years, 26 years, so just really, really proud of our young men. And it's great for Georgia Tech. Loyola Chicago, really good basketball team. Porter Mosier, one of the best coaches in the country, and also one of the best guys as well too. I've known Coach Mosier a long time. Their teams are really, really good, very disciplined. They defend like crazy. They run great stuff offensively, and we'll have to be playing at a very, very high level if we want to have an opportunity to win the game. Well, look, I mean, we got a tough matchup in the 8-9 game with Loyola Chicago. That's tough enough. And then you're playing a 1 seed. If you're, a winner, assuming that if the 1 seed Illinois wins, you play them if you're fortunate enough to win the game. Look, if you're not the one, I mean, it is what it is. I just wanted to get in. We are the ACC tournament champions, but it's probably a fair seed the way I look at it. Kind of probably where we rank with the net rankings and things like that. It's probably a fair seed. I mean, we were going to be anywhere between 7 and 9, I felt. I think us winning, we would have probably been a 10, maybe 11, but I think us winning last night moved us to the 9 seed.
All right, that was Josh Pastner, head coach of Georgia Tech, on the team making the NCAA tournament, and that game actually takes place tomorrow on March 19th against Loyola of Chicago. The winner of that contest will face the winner of the Illinois and Drexel contest in Sunday in the second round of the tournament in the Midwest region. So we keep track of all of that stuff. Georgia Tech's women's basketball team is also in the NCAA tournament. It's the 10th time in program history that they are in the NCAAs. They earned an at-large bid. We were able to speak with senior guard Kierra Fletcher on making the NCAA tournament.
It's an amazing feeling. This is what I've been working for since I stepped onto campus, and just being able to do this with the teammates that I have this season, and we have a very special team. So I'm just excited for every person because, as I said, I haven't been here. Lo, the other senior, she hasn't been here. So it's just a very exciting experience for all of us.
This is also the first tournament under ACC Coach of the Year Nell Fortner. It's her second year with the program, and last year the team was trending towards an NCAA tournament bid, but the tournament got canceled because of COVID. But now that they played a full season. They are now in the tournament, and I was able to speak with Coach Fortner about the team making the NCAAs.
Excited to see our name be called and have an opportunity to play in this NCAA tournament. Just really super proud of these players and their hard work and their belief in what we've accomplished this season so far. You know, there's been goals set, and we're seeing some of those goals come to fruition, and we're not finished yet. So just really proud of them and the hard work and the belief that they've had in what we've accomplished and the direction we're headed.
Now, overall for Georgia Tech's women's team, this is the first time that they are in the NCAAs since 2014. So this is a significant turnaround for the Yellow Jackets program. Here is Coach Fortner on that program's turnaround.
Yeah, it's just really exciting. And again, I'll just say I'm just really super happy and proud of these players because they're the ones that have to get out on the floor and go produce. And they've really bought into the staff. They're highly coachable. They're very competitive, and it's really the best thing is just as a coach is just seeing the payoff happen for your kids. And because they put a lot of work in, it's not just on the court, but they have to do it in the weight room. They have to do it in conditioning. Then they have a load of academics on top of that. So you want to see this payoff. And now we want to go see how much noise we can make in this tournament. So it's just really, really proud of them and happy for them.
And a big part of that turnaround has been the upperclassmen, including Kierra Fletcher, Alora Kubash, Latinen, players that came into the program that did not make the NCAA tournament, and they were able to turn the program around and improve it and get them into the NCAAs for the first time in their career at Georgia Tech. So here is Fletcher on the program's improvement.
Definitely. I think it's night and day from my first 2 years here and my last 2 years that I've been here. We've always had talented teams. I just think we underperformed my first 2 years, and with the new coaching staff and that transition, I think our talent really showed just because we had a different culture rebuild, and I think that helped us a lot these past 2 years.
Now, Georgia Tech, they finished the season, or they're currently 15-8 overall and 12-6 in the ACC. They are the 5th seed in the tournament, and they're going to face the number 12 seed, Stephen F. Austin, out of the Southland Conference. The Lady Jacks defeated Sam Houston in the conference championship game to earn the league's automatic bid. Here is Nell Fortner, once again, the head coach of the Yellow Jackets, who actually got her coaching career started as a graduate assistant at Stephen F. Austin, her about facing her former team.
The one thing I know about Stephen F. Austin, first of all, I got my college coaching career started there. So I spent 4 years in Nacogdoches, Texas, and that is a tremendously strong it has great women's basketball history. So the tradition there is to win and to get to the NCAA tournament. And so they've returned there this season, but great fan support. They can recruit strong, a great recruiting base to get kids out of Texas, Louisiana, and the region. So have a vast amount of respect for what they've what they've accomplished. For the coach that's been there, this is his 6th season, and he's done a really good job. So we'll have a tremendous amount of respect going into that game, knowing that this is a team that averages, they average almost 90 points a game. They shoot over 50% a game. So it's this team is playing very well, and we're going to have to be really prepared to play them.
And the winner of that game will face the winner of the West Virginia Lehigh contest. West Virginia is the number 4 seed out of the Big 12, and Lehigh, they're 10-5 out of the, I want to say the Colonial or the American East Colonial, I believe. But here is Fletcher on the unique NCAA tournament situation that they are entering.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a extremely different look from NCAA tournaments in the past from what they've told us. We're going to pretty much be in a bubble. They're going to try to just keep us in our hotel so there's no type of infiltration of us being able to test positive for COVID-19. So our trainer, she's been communicating with us on what we can and can't do. So I think we're pretty prepared for that bubble life that we're going to have in San Antonio.
And lastly, here is Fortner on the confidence of the team heading into the NCAA tournament.
The one thing that gives me the confidence is that we are very hungry. They are extremely hungry and excited about playing in this NCAA tournament because none of them have been there before. So they're really excited. Their eyes are wide open. Their ears are real big. They're listening. They're learning. They're wanting to do everything we're asking them to do, because they know they've never been there, but they know these coaches have been there. And it's just right now, it's just a really great atmosphere and working hard on the court. The energy is good because they want to succeed. They're highly competitive. So we'll take we'll work every day and see how much better we can get and take that to the tournament.
And we'll be keeping track of Georgia Tech's women's basketball team as they make their run in the NCAA tournament. We were able to get some good interviews this past week from several teams that are playing their spring seasons, starting with Georgia Tech Volleyball. This is the first time we were able to speak with head coach Michelle Collier about the spring season, and we spoke with her on March 17th. The topics included the spring portion of their schedule, the increased playing time of freshman setter Isabella Damico, the outstanding serving of Julia Bergman, and the new professional volleyball league based in the United States. So we were able to speak with Michelle about all of those topics and more. And here it is. Okay, this is Marcel Pursuit with the Sports Inquirer here with head coach of Georgia Tech Volleyball, Coach Michelle Collier. We're very excited to have her with us back in the new year. We talked a lot in the fall, but now we get to talk during the spring season. Before we get to specifics of the match, how are you handling the spring season and everything that it's presenting you?
Yeah, I think we're just very grateful to having the opportunity to be in the gym, to still compete, to continue to get better and just continue to develop our program and our players. And so it's been nice. I mean, it's a little bit different, something that we're not used to with just the cycle and how usually the springs are for us. But we're definitely excited and just happy to be playing and getting after it.
Was it tough that first match or two? There's a second weekend. You played 2 weekends so far, but those first matches, was it a little bit different, a little bit difficult getting into it and getting back into the rhythm because you were off a few months from competitive volleyball?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've been training since the middle of January, but I think that we had a rough 2 weeks leading into that first weekend. I mean, we've been pretty healthy, but we had both of our setters had some injuries there kind of leading into that weekend. And so we weren't really able to get as much rhythm as we would have liked to have, to be ready for that weekend. But I think that we got better as the weekend went on, and we were definitely able to kind of carry that over for the rest of the week. And then this past weekend, I felt like we played a great match against Boston College. So we'll continue to keep getting better and grow, and our players are getting healthier. So our gym is getting back to the rhythm that we need to be at where with everybody and being able to, help ourselves get ready for our opponents.
Yeah, you were able to play Boston College last weekend in your home opener, and you defeated them 3-0. Mariana Brambilla, Julia Bergman had 14 kills apiece in the contest. What were some of the positives you saw from that performance, and just the team continuing to lead the conference in hitting percentage and kills per set?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely seen a growth from the weekend before. Obviously, you probably know that Matt McKissick, our setter, was out with an injury that first weekend, and she's still now slowly getting better. But so we had Bella step in. She started for us, and she's doing a great job. And it's been good to see her growth, and she's getting a little more comfortable with that role, and just understanding a little bit how to run our offense and things like that. So she has really grown every match that she has played, and Matt's getting better. So we're getting a little bit of a better rhythm in our gym with our setters to be able to continue to get better. So I think that was something that it was good to see the difference, and definitely I saw that out in everybody. I felt like we played a good match against Virginia, and Pitt played a great match against us, but we were also not with our full force, so we were definitely I think made the most out of that situation and responded well to that loss. I mean, that was a match that we really wanted to have competed better, and we didn't, and so but we turned around and we continued to work and get better, and we had a better showing last Friday, so just really excited to see the growth of everybody in the group, and as we continue to move towards our goals.
Yeah, you mentioned Isabella Damico. She had a game high 36 assists as the a setter. Do you think it was she's a freshman? Do you think it was beneficial for her to she played in the fall season, so it's really could be considered kind of her sophomore year in a way, or kind of midway freshman year? Do you think that that she's gained some confidence and comfort just with the team being able to play those small matches and have this extra training going into the spring?
For sure. I mean, Bella has, she's doing a good job ever since she's got here. She's got a ton of potentials, and she still has lots to learn, but I think that she's learning fast. And I think that Matt's doing a good job, and Claudio doing a good job with mentoring her and getting her. And it's been great that it's unfortunate of how she got that opportunity, but I think she's made the most out of the opportunity to be on the court and really learn in match and learn that experience, because I think it's the best way to really learn how to lead as a setter and how to take control of matches. And so I think that for her, it's been great. I think that she's definitely continues to respond better and better every time that she gets on the court. So it's been really fun to see her growth, and it's nice to have two great players at that position to help us go through the ups and downs of just a long season.
Yeah, and is there any possibility you could kind of put both on the court at the same time, or have a set rotation? How will you handle that when you have two healthy setters that are playing well for you?
Yeah, I mean it's not something that we 6-2 is not really the system that we run as much, but we'll do what we need to do to win. So if it gets to a point where our coaching staff feels like this is a move that helps us win a match, we definitely wouldn't think twice about it, but I think that they both bring different things to the court. And I think that they complement each other, they learn from each other. So it's been good to just see their relationship develop as teammates and also as competitors, and pushing each other, making each other better. I think that they have made our program better, and so it's just been fun to just kind of see their relationship grow and get better, and have two great players to fall back on.
You received some good serving as well. Bergman leads the conference in aces per set. How has that helped with just success, not only of the past few games, but just throughout the season, having a solid server like that to set your team up on the court?
Yeah, I mean, serving for us is definitely crucial. A lot of our game plan starts with the serving and how we want to kind of take away some options from the other team and their offense. And so we always start with Julia at the service line. So she's somebody that we start matches attacking our opponents with from the service line, because she's definitely leading the conference and also just very consistent with her serve. She brings in a high level of difficulty with her serve, and so it's been helpful for us. I mean, it plays a big part on our defense and the things that we want to do. And so the matches that we have had better defensive numbers has started with good serving. And so it's definitely crucial that we continue to get better at that position.
And you head back on the road again this weekend on March 19th. You face Virginia Tech in Blacksburg and in a neutral contest because you're still in Blacksburg against Syracuse. You mentioned that you've seen some improvements from the team. You have a few weeks now of this spring season. What do you continue to work at to improve on, or just continue to do well as you progress through the ACC part of the schedule?
Yeah, no, we have to continue to keep getting better. Feel like our offense was a little more balanced this week than we were the week before. And so we, our passing was more consistent. Our serving was a little bit better. So we gotta continue to get better every day. I think that we're still a long ways from playing our best volleyball and the level that we want to be at. But this is a sprint. We don't have too much time. We got about 3 weeks left there before we can accomplish our goal to go postseason. And so we just really taking one match at a time and understanding that every time we step on the court, we got to be better than the night before when we were at those situations. So our goal is to keep getting better on a daily basis, and I think we're doing that in our gym. We're challenging our players and they're responding, and I'm excited to see how we respond to this challenge coming up. It's never easy to play at Virginia Tech, and so two good teams out there playing on the road. We just got to make sure that we continue to do the things that we're good at.
And lastly, I've been watching just different channels over the past few weeks, sports channels, and I've seen professional volleyball, and not beach volleyball, indoor volleyball, with the Athletes Unlimited volleyball format. And I thought about you and some of the other volleyball players and coaches that I know. Have you been able to watch some of it? Do you like that it's getting coverage? And it's a different format. I guess like you get points for certain things. It's not the traditional first to 25 kind of deal. Or it's a different format than, I guess, traditional indoor volleyball. But have you seen it? And what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great for the sport. I think that the exposure is great. I think they did a great job of having some great world-known players that are here now competing, Olympic champions and other players. And so it's been fun to just see that initiative and see where that goes. I think that anytime that you promote the sport, it's such a great game. And giving the opportunity and the exposure to be on TV and compete, I think that's great for the sport of volleyball at all levels. So I'm definitely super excited about it. I'm still, just like you, trying to figure out how it all works, because it's definitely a little bit unique with the point system and how they decide the teams and stuff. But I think that it's great that it's out there. It's great that's being exposed. And I think that more young players have the opportunity to watch these great players and get to know more about the game and how things are done at a high level. And I'm just excited for the sport of volleyball. I think that it's a great opportunity for the sport. Obviously, I'm biased. I think it's a great game, and hopefully it will continue to grow.
I was going to say, have you crossed paths with any of those players? Do you know any of them? Do you have a particular one or two that you like watching, maybe a fellow Brazilian or someone you've seen in college that over your years in the United States?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players that we know they're there. Obviously, Jordan Larson from the women's national team here for the U.S. and Shayla, that used to be an opposite for the Brazilian national team, probably one of the best opposites in the world for a long time. I think you have Cruz, which is a Dominican outside hitter who is also very physical. So it's been great to see those players kind of come together with other professional players that have played at the college level, and really get this initiative going, and hopefully it grows and it becomes stronger and stronger. So I'm just really excited that that there's an opportunity. There will be more opportunities for players after college to stay in the U.S. and play. I mean, most of them have to go, they all have to go overseas to Europe, Asia, South America. I mean, all over the world to continue to play. And it would be great to stay home and continue to just kind of expose the sport and continue to grow the game. So I think it's a win-win for everybody around the sport of volleyball.
All right, thanks, Michelle, for speaking with us about everything going on with her program. They are going to face Virginia Tech on March 19th. We're able to speak with the Georgia Tech softball player Meghan Cassidy for an interview a few days ago. The freshman infielder has seen significant playing time. She's really become the star. She's become the starting third baseman for the team, and the Yellow Jackets, since her implementation into the lineup, have turned the season around a little bit. They started ACC play 1-9, but they're able to win 2 out of 4 games against Pittsburgh this past weekend. So we spoke with Meghan about this. Her playing multiple positions on the field, hitting in the bottom half of the lineup, and also the team's preparations for their matchup against Notre Dame on March 19th. Here it is. Okay, this is the Sports Inquirer, Emar Sopertu, and we are here with Meghan Cassidy from Georgia Tech softball. The team was able to get 2 out of 4 wins against Pittsburgh this past weekend. Just overall impressions from you as the team, because you really started ACC struggling in play. You're 1-9, but now you won 2 of your past 4. What do you think's kind of been the difference over the past few games for the team?
I think the difference between these past few games compared to the beginning of the season is that we have finally started playing together as a team. Before, we were having some trouble especially with softball. It's very important to play together, especially like with hitting, pitching, defense. We would always have one or two of the other, but not maybe the other one wasn't doing as well. But this past weekend, we finally started to work together as the team. And I think that really helped us this weekend, and carrying that into the rest of the season will be really important.
Yeah, in the team's 11-10 win over Pittsburgh on March 12th, you had a late RBI driving in a run. What was that like for you at the plate, being able to execute in that situation?
That was really important for me. I knew that we were going to need that extra run because the game was very tight. And so I was just really focusing on putting the ball in play in a spot that would be able to score that run, because I think Emma was on third and she's pretty fast. So just being able to put in the ball in play, I didn't really need to get a hit or anything, but just to score that run was really important.
And you've seen more playing time at third base over the past few weeks. What's that like for you personally to find your way into the starting lineup?
It's awesome for me. This is my last season. I had an injury, which really I couldn't play as well as I would have liked to. So this season, being able to be healthy and play well into my best ability has been really fun. And playing third base, I played a little bit of third base last season, and this season I'm really starting to get used to it, and I really love it there.
Where did you play previously?
In high school and some of the fall, I would play second base, which is just a little bit farther away. So third base is a little bit more reaction time, but I actually like that a lot.
That's interesting you say that, because you would think it looks geographic, like on the field, you say it's a little bit further away, I guess, second base than third base. Just what kind of differences, elaborate on that, differences between those two positions?
Well, third base is you have to cover bunts and stuff. So normally you have to play a lot closer to the batter. And especially with right-handed hitters, whenever you pull the ball, it tends to be a hit a lot harder than if you were to hit it opposite field. And so third base is really more of reaction and just being able to stop the ball, get it to first. They call it the hot corner because you just get like a bunch of super hard balls. And second base is more like range, and you get to cover more ground. And so adjusting to that was a little bit difficult at first, but I think I'm finally getting used to it and I really like it.
Is also a second base, you don't have to worry about double plays, or is a throwing angle different dealing with the pitcher and just
Yes,
the geography of it?
definitely. Yes. Third base, you don't have as many double plays that you have to turn second base, you have to cover first base on bunts, or you have to turn double plays if it's hit to the left side. So that is, a little bit different than third base. Third base, really, you're just covering your position.
And did you train in the fall at third base? Was this a plan that Coach Morales was bringing to you, that you may play a little bit more time there this year?
Yes, during the fall and this past preseason in January, I mixed a lot at second and third to just get used to it, because we weren't really sure where I would be needed or anything. So I really got used to most positions in the infield just in case we needed it.
And how was the fall for you? We all know with the pandemic that the fall was a little bit different for most players. What about you? You're able to put you're technically a freshman, I think, as far as playing goes, but it's your second year with the program. How
Yes.
was the fall for you, and even the summer, just preparing for this year that was maybe different than in the past?
For me, I was coming off of an injury. And so during the fall, it was really important for me to just get back into it, especially with my swing. And so it actually helped me a lot being able to just scrimmage ourselves and not have the pressure of playing other teams in the fall. But this fall, normally in the fall, we have a little fall season where we play other teams, but this fall we weren't able to. So we would scrimmage each other, which was really fun. And we were just really grateful to be able to get back out there, because we had gone so long without seeing each other or even playing softball. And even over the summer, most people couldn't get access to playing anything because of the pandemic. So it was just really nice to get back out there and play against each other and play with each other.
You're from Gwinnett County, went to Mill Creek High School. Did you go back there to maybe get training or to maybe
Yes.
prepare for this year? Did you use that home advantage to your benefit, being a local player?
Yes, I did. A lot of the times when I go back home for breaks and stuff, I'll use their facilities. They have a really nice field and batting cages. So it's really nice to be able to go back there and see the coaches and my old players and be able to train there when we're in the off season.
Yeah, and to wrap up, you go back in the ACC play this weekend and continue their schedule. What are you looking to get better at or improve on yourself and as a team, just to continue the winning ways over the past few weeks?
Personally, I am going to be working on seeing more pitches and being able to I'm working mostly on my hitting, because I am in the bottom of the lineup, which is very important to turn it over to the top of the lineup. So that, and normally as a team, when the bottom of the lineup is able to turn it over and get back to those top hitters, that's really important for our wins. So I'm going to be working on that. And as the team, I think we're going to keep working on being able to work as a team with pitching, hitting, defense, just all working together. And that's how we'll have our best success.
Yeah, actually, you mentioned that as well, being in the bottom part of the lineup. Is that tougher for you, just knowing that you're being that lower spot, maybe less at bat opportunities? How do you just stay active and involved when you're? Is it tougher to stay into the game because you have fewer at bat opportunities?
I personally don't think it is, because our team is very helpful when it comes to at bats. So I'm a right-handed hitter, and other right-handed hitters that have faced the pitcher will come talk to me about what she's throwing, what I might want to look for. And so that's really helpful. So actually the bottom of the lineup, I feel like I know what's coming a little bit more than the top of the lineup the first time around. So that's really helpful. And I like being in the bottom of the lineup, because the bottom of the lineup has a lot of speed. So when we're able to get on base and get back to the top of the lineup, that's where most of our power is, and they can drive us in, which I really love.
And we thank Meghan for joining us and speaking with us on the program. And lastly, we have an interview with Georgia State men's tennis player Harvey Maughan. And he was able to speak with us, actually spoke to us today on March 18th. We did an interview earlier this morning. But he is a junior transfer from Kennesaw State. He is now with the Georgia State Panthers. He's formed a good doubles team partnership with Kevin Hun, and he has won 6 matches in singles competition so far this year. So he has gotten off to a very good start for the team. So we saw about all those things, as well as the bond the team is starting to form with the pandemic and having to spend more time together. and everything going on there. So here's the interview with Harvey. Okay, everybody, this is E. Marcel Petit, the
Perfect.
Sports Inquirer, and we are here with Harvey Maughan from Georgia State men's tennis. The team is off to a solid start, and we wanted to catch up with one of their players, and Harvey's been gracious enough to join us. We'll start with your doubles play. You and Kevin Hun have formed a really good partnership, and you've been able to win your last few matches together. What's that been like for you, teaming with Kevin, and what makes a good doubles partnership to have success?
Yeah, I think me and Kevin definitely we've had some chemistry from when we played as kids. I think I've known Kevin now for at least 10 years. So that definitely is a big factor into our game. I think a big part of it, with me starting with Vaza, we didn't have our best start, and we went to switch it up with Kevin, and straight away it was right back to how it was before. The chemistry was there, and I think we just kind of built off the momentum we've started with. So that's been the biggest thing for us, is definitely just team chemistry.
Yeah, you mentioned you played in juniors. Did you play? You were at another program. We'll get to that in a moment, about your transfer into Georgia State. But did you play with each other even while you're still in college? Did you have any opportunities to work with each other at Georgia State before? You trying to see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so we played. I think Kevin went to school a year before me, and the summer before he came to Georgia State, his freshman year, we played some of the big national events leading up to Kevin starting school. But once Kevin got to school, we didn't really ever see each other very much. Obviously, I was at a different program, so working with my team at the time, and he was working with the Georgia State guys. So we never really played together much after the junior level. And even when we got to school, we never had much play at all before we kind of went straight into the spring. Vaza. So I had been training with Vaza pretty much from when I got here till the spring season. And then when we looked to make the switch, as much as we didn't play together leading up to the matches we went into, we didn't really need to. The chemistry was there, and we hopped right in, and we seemed to.
Yeah, sure. And now going back to you as an individual player, you won 6 matches so far in your singles competitions, including this last match and a super tiebreaker against Stetson. What's a super tiebreaker? I saw it seemed like it was a long third set. And what's been some of the factors in your individual success as a singles player?
Yeah, well, obviously the match with Stetson was a tough one. The super tiebreaker, with the match already being clinched, so we just put the tiebreaker up to 10 to decide the third. As far as the Stetson match goes, the guy was playing some great tennis. We had a really fun. It was honestly a shame we couldn't play on a full third, because I think we both would have enjoyed it. But we work a lot on the tiebreakers in practice with Coach Wolf, and he stresses the importance of being able to step up in moments like that. And so, it's as much as it's fun to get it done in the matches, I know we've practiced on it behind the scenes. So that's definitely a big factor as far as the super tiebreakers go from this past weekend. And then as far as singles played so far this season, the team, not just as a team, we've all been putting in a lot of work on the practice court and the gym. And I think, at the start of the season, with not having played a lot of matches due to COVID, we were all a bit rusty. But now that we've kind of gotten into the swing of things, we've really just been grateful for the opportunity to compete, and it's showing in our singles play. We're all out there just happy to play and happy to bust our butts to work hard and to get some good match play. And, we're coming away with some wins because of it.
You spent your first 2 collegiate years at Kennesaw State, and then you moved a little bit south to Georgia State. What led to the transfer, and why Georgia State? And what's your time been like with the Panthers?
Yeah, I spent 2 years at Kennesaw, and I love my time there. But I felt as though my position on that team wasn't the position I wanted to have. I think there was opportunities available for me elsewhere that I wanted to find, and Georgia State was definitely that opportunity for me. I put myself on the transfer portal after the past season, the 2020 season was canceled due to COVID. And I took the risk of trying to find somewhere new. And, Coach Wolf was gracious enough to give me a shot. And I'm thankful for it every day. I think what led to me coming to Georgia State was, obviously I've had the ability to look at the men's team from the outside in as a competitor against Georgia State. And I was always very impressed with, their work ethic, the team bond they have, and just sort of the whole team spirit. They would try and get myself a spot here. And like I said, Coach Wolf was very gracious in kind of offering me that opportunity. And I just hope to make the best of it I can. So far, I've loved every second of it.
Yeah, if you're watching the video version of this interview, there's a Brazilian flag in the background, and it's your roommates or one of your teammates. But what's been like your grouping? I'm sure you guys have spent a lot of time together with the current conditions of playing college sports. What's that been like for you? And I'm sure the coaching staff as well. Do you feel a closer bond? Because tennis tends to be an individualized sport because you're out there on the court a lot of times by yourself. But do you feel like you're more of a team now because of everything that's been going on?
Yeah, definitely. I think especially for me and our freshman this year, Mihai, we're the two new guys in this team, and with COVID sort of forcing us to be close together, and I think the guys have done an excellent job of making both me and Mihai fit right in. I've created a great bond with a lot of guys on the team, and with Coach Wolf and our assistant Bailey. I think this team has done a really great job of coming together, and it's created a great sense of ownership for each other, and sort of a feeling of family here. And COVID restrictions, that's just helped us all a bit more. I think it's what's making our team strong going into the season or the mid to back part of the season. For example, we were in Florida for 5 days together this past weekend, and it was only the team that, and as much as we can get tired of each other, we're a family, and we really feel that now with how much time we've got to spend together, and it shows when we play together.
Yeah, and then lastly, you have some home matches against ETSU and Chattanooga, really to conclude the big part of your non-conference schedule. What do you guys worked on this week to continue to get better individually, and you and Kevin as a doubles unit?
Yeah, for sure. I think we're big pushes this weekend. We really, as a team, we really want to go 2 for 2 on the matches this weekend. I think if we can really start to make a push for our record to get a bit better, this weekend's a great opportunity. As far as what we're doing in practice, we're just reinforcing the good habits, reinforcing what we know we do well. And doubles is one of those things we do well with me and my partner, Kevin. On small and big details, always reminding each other when we're not faking, we're poaching, and when we're not poaching, we're faking, and stuff like that. And that's a big thing for us. It's just reminding ourselves of the small details and making sure we go do our job when it matters. And that's kind of what we've been working on this past week is making sure our level's there and making sure come Friday, come Sunday, we're ready to bring our A game.
We thank Harvey for speaking with us, and they are going to host East Tennessee State on March 19th. So make sure you check that out. And all these interviews, you're hearing the audio versions of them now, but you're more than welcome to go to our sites and our platforms, starting with Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and get links to the video portions of these interviews, and go to your specifically YouTube as well. And if you go to those platforms, you'll be able to see the video of the interviews that you heard and the full audio as well. So make sure you go to those platforms and check us out. And that concludes today's broadcast. Thanks for checking us out. And as I said, just go to those platforms to hear more from us and all the other entities. And we greatly appreciate you giving some of your time to listen to us. Until next time, good fight, good night, and be safe.